Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
How you doing?
I like we all have similar screens. It looks good. You know,
Yes.
as I watch this, it's like, okay, everybody's got a secret. Everybody's all mysterious. So for each of you, how do you relate to the characters you're playing, and what makes them likable and complex? Griffin?
Um, I think Luke has had a fairly easy life. And so he is able to, I mean, he comes from like the most powerful family in the town and he's very affluent. And so he's always like gotten, the material things he wants, and that makes it easy to, you've got a nice house, you've got the nice pool, you can always have friends over. And I think he recognizes his position for sure, of being that person. And he likes to share it with his friends. He loves his friends, and he's all around a very likable guy. He does what he can for the people that he loves, and he's always there, and he tries to be a decent person most of the time. But I think what makes him so complex is coming from that affluent family. There's a lot of pressure and weight on his shoulders, a lot of expectations, and I don't think he fully aligns with, his family's point of view on how things should be, of how the world should be. And he gets into a lot of internal struggles, a lot of internal battles of like, okay, am I a good person by nature and a bad person by nurture, or is it more complicated than that?
Sadie, we get to see the Jekyll and Hyde of your characters by your appearance. So talk to me about, obviously there's something that's likable, but then when we see her differently, then you start wondering, because not, especially when it's a series that week by week we don't know where we're getting.
Yeah. I think what makes Megan likable is also what makes her relatable. She is, when we first meet her, she's a very normal teenage girl, but she did have to grow up pretty fast. She comes from like a very different family than Luke does. She has a single mom and a sister that she helps take care of, and she helps with the bills, and she got a job at a young age, and she has to work for this scholarship to go to college because her family can't afford it. And so at first we see that she comes from a little bit of a struggle, and that she's just a normal girl with a lot of ambition. And then we see her open up when Isabella comes to town, and we see her be a little bit more relaxed. We get to watch her let loose and be a kid for once, be a teenager, and have all those like cliche teenage experiences, which I think is really fun to watch, and that's likable. And then in that third timeline, she may not be the most likable. She can be a bit of a downer, but she's gone through a lot, and she's dealing with some pretty serious stuff. So hopefully, people fall in love with her and want to see her get through that.
Lexi, with Isabella, she's not the girl that's working so hard to fit in. She kind of comes in right away, but then, as we see, without any spoilers, things can turn right away. So is she likable or complex?
Isabella is, when we first meet her, she's really charming. She has this sort of energy and spirit when it comes to her. She's very confident, and she knows what she wants when it comes to Luke, when it comes to Megan, just in general. Like, she knows what she wants for her life, and she doesn't back down. But with that, when you really peel that back and like you really dig deep and you understand Isabella more, you see that she's actually a deeply flawed and layered person. There's a lot of complexities that we see, and I feel like you definitely see each of them in different timelines. I can't say that she's the most likable in the second timeline or the third timeline, honestly, but I think that it just is true to Isabella and her approach when it comes to friendships, the true definition of what it means to be a ride or die, and just her being her authentic self.
It's interesting. Obviously, we're not talking a 5-year gap. We're only talking within a year that everybody changes, which is going to make it interesting when people watch week after week. So congrats on the roles. Congrats on the series. We'll talk down the road.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.